Alaafin never stood for Ooni. Diaspora royals defend centuries-old protocol. Okay. They say history cannot be rewritten in a stance. The Oyo Alaafin in the diaspora (OAITD) has firmly addressed growing debates in diaspora. Now, they have addressed the growing debate around the Yoruba royal protocol, particularly claims that the late Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Lamidi Olaiwola Adeyemi III, ever rose in deference to the Ooni of Ife. The group, speaking through its spokesperson, Engineer Prince Afolabi Adeyemi, insisted such claims contradict historical records and traditions handed down over centuries. Okay, traditions new. The Oyo Alaafin in the diaspora has expressed the need to speak up as true Oyo sons and daughters to set the records in the true and right perspective. Adeyemi began in a statement. He noted that the contention over royal etiquette, especially on whether the Alaafin would stand to honour the Ooni, must be settled by truth and history, not emotion or speculation. A closer examination of history, supported by documented evidence, reveals that the Alaafin does not and has never stood for any other monarch, including the Ooni, he said. Explaining the deep-rooted reasons behind this, Adeyemi pointed out to the distinction between both monarchs. So it's distinction that is making it to be disrespectful and arrogance. Though it might be your tradition, but it still boils down to arrogancy, like you are proud, you see yourself bigger than everybody else. That's just what it is. The Alaafin of Oyo occupies a unique position in Yoruba history, which is, as the direct descendant of Oromiyan and the custodian of the Oyo's empire legacy, the Alaafin's throne is one of immense prestige. Historically, the Alaafin was regarded as the political head of the Yoruba people, while the Ooni of Ife remains the spiritual leader. This distinction in roles has always dictated royal etiquette. He supported his claim with what he described as consistent historical evidence. Photographs and oral traditions spanning decades confirm that the Alaafin does not rise for any other king, including the Ooni. This is not a sign of disrespect, but rather an affirmation of the distinct hierarchies and customs that have governed Yoruba royalties for centuries. On the conduct of Oba Adeyemi III and his forebears, Adeyemi stated, the late Oba Lamidi Olaiwola Adeyemi III, a deeply traditional monarch, upheld these practices throughout his reign, and did his predecessors. Those familiar with Yoruba history will recall that even during joint public appearances, the Alaafin maintained his seated position when the Ooni or other monarch entered. This is not an isolated occurrence, but a consistent practice rooted in the Alaafin's historical chaos. He was quick to add that Alaafin's protocol never signified disrespect or disunity. However, this did not in any way breed disunity among the two. Of course, it doesn't mean that they are having issues. It's just tradition, but I still feel it's arrogance, Isha. The Oyo Empire's influence at its peak extended across vast regions, and the Alaafin's authority was unquestioned in matters of governance and military command. In today's democracy, to suggest that Alaafin Abibola Akim Owadewan, who stand for another king, disregards the well-documented protocols of Yoruba royalty. Protocol, indeed. Describing Oba Adeyemi as the guardian of culture, he stated the late Alaafin Adeyemi III, a scholar of history and tradition, was meticulous in preserving the dignity of his office. His actions were always in alignment with the custom handed down through generations, insisting that this must not be misunderstood. He clarified, the Alaafin's refusal to stand for any other monarch is not an act of defiance, but a reaffirmation of the distinct roles each Yoruba king plays in the cultural and political tapestry of the Yoruba people. History spanning hundreds of years cannot be rewritten in a stance. Addressing those circulating contrary opinions, Adeyemi remarked, for those insisting otherwise, the evidence, both photographic and historical, speaks for itself. The Alaafin's throne is one of authority, and its tradition must be understood and respected as they are from centuries. Finally, he urged the Yoruba public, especially social media commentators, to act responsibly. We advise our online contributors to stand on the side of the truth, research well on history, and seek information that elevates the status and engenders unity of the Yoruba people. It is crucial to stay away from fanning the embers of discord among our traditional rulers. Yorubas must remain one indivisible element and always preserve our culture's integrity. Okay, no wahala. Fadeni says, Oyo and Ibadan people too get pride. Most of them na Agbe and Eleron by job. Oh God, you have bad mouth. But most of them are also doing great in life. It's not all of them that is Eleron. It's not all of them that is Agbe. Honorable Andrew Gani says, but there was a public gathering where former governor of Lagos State and Sheikh Ooni of Ife were sitting. Though it's an insult from that former governor, heaven was not let loose. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo proceeded in greeting the Ooni of Ife. That shows discipline and upholding of tradition. Alaafin of Oyo's throne is an authority, and the tradition must be upheld, respect, and understood. Okay, we don't understand. We have understood though. King James says, I want to remind the writer the reason for creating Osun State is as a result of Ooni Sijuwade and the then Alaafin struggling for supremacy. They were separated because the tussle was becoming unbearable. Oromiyan left the throne of his father. His origin, is it greater than his origin? By natural law, whosoever occupied the throne of your father is father of all. By nature, other kings is expected to pay obeisance to the only throne that gave everyone life and birth, which is the throne of Ile-Ife. At Ola King James says, I'm surprised that the so-called Yoruba ethnic groups, the writer mentioned two offices, political and spiritual, based on his assertion. Which one is greater? Yoruba nation can mislead themselves. Ooni is not dragging position with other monarchs. Exactly. He's not. I don't even think he has an issue with it. Why are you killing yourself? The current Ooni is a symbol of peace, love, and unity. Yes. The king is just enjoying himself, as humble as God-fearing gods. This is another Solomon of our time. Every time the Yoruba nation is only interested in position, exactly, I don't think the Ooni of Ife has an issue with the fact that the man did not greet him or anything. I don't think he does. He's just doing his thing. Ogunshola says, no quarrel or fight anytime. Ooni is present in an occasion before Alaafin, and Alaafin comes later. Ooni too should not stand to greet Alaafin. He's tit for tat, abi. Probably if he gets to the occasion before the Alaafin, he too sit down, don't greet him. So let's see who is going to pain the most. It is well, Jare. Abiodun says, that's because Oyinbos have dabaru our history and culture to the extent that we do not know the authentic history and culture of the Yoruba, and it's really just so sad, really, really sad. This is over to leave your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for listening. See you some other time. Bye.